And that is normal too. That is survival. That is something instinctual that is in people. You don't just go around opening up to everyone all around everywhere. Some people do, but you shouldn't be doing that. But the problem is, these people all came here for a reason, guys. They saw something that they wanted to be a part of. They wanted to be a part of it because they desired what they thought we had. And I know we have. I know we have. Some of you know we have. Some of you may doubt it, but I know it's there. I know it's there. Because every person has potential to do something amazing, to be something amazing. They just have to wake up and realize it one day. So if this person left and they're feeling like it was cliquish, maybe it's because not that you didn't open up to them, but sometimes you have to not be that person who opens up first. You just have to listen, and you have to make them feel comfortable so that they can open up. They came here, most likely they're scared, they're nervous, they don't know anyone. How many of you have ever been the new kid at a brand new school and moved out of state? Anyone? How many of you remember that first day of school? Felt you were going to crap your pants. So guys, I moved around a lot. I went to 6 different high schools. None of them were in the same area. That's high schools. High schools. It sucked. I went to 3 different high schools. Think about your high school years, your prom, all that cool stuff. That's when best friends who grew up together are just in it to win it. I went to 3 different high schools in 1 year. 1 year. That sucked. I hated being the new kid. People call you new kid. That's what your name is. Your name's not Chad. Oh, it's that new kid, or the kid from Louisiana, or something like that. That sucks. Guys, I wanted friends so bad, but I had a tough exterior, obviously. 1, I was from New Orleans. 2, from an Italian Catholic family. 3, I was a boy. They're very prideful, teenage boys. So I might look tough, and I might look like I was, being mean, or even seem rude. But in reality, I was going home and I was crying, and I just wanted friends. But of course, I didn't show everyone that. So when people come in here, guys, they might seem tough. They may have been in here for months, and you just haven't reached that relationship with them or felt that open with them yet. But they may go home crying. They may leave the groups crying and just wanting so bad to be close to y'all, or may even see some of the relationship you have with the other person, the banter, or how close you seem, or how much like family you seem, and they just want that. Remember, their reaction is not going to be to come up to you and cry and say, well, that's what I want. No, a lot of times, most of the time, they're going to seem rude because they're being protective. Yes, they're doing that thing that I was just talking about. They are still walking around carrying their past with them. They're still carrying those insecurities, carrying all those things that hurt them. So yes, they have a wall up, and they're not willing to let anyone in. So that's exactly how, I promise you, that's exactly how I came off. I know it. I know I seemed like the rudest kid in school, but it wasn't that I was rude. It's that I just did not trust anyone. I didn't know anyone. I went through a lot. I had a lot of weird, I've got jumped by a whole football team before. So obviously I didn't trust anyone. I didn't trust going to parties. I didn't trust, that's what happened. So I'll tell you this story. This is my story to tell, so I'm going to tell it. You can go Google it after. No, you don't Google it. I was just kidding. I know, I know that's been popular lately, but anyway. So in high school, I wanted so bad. This is one of the schools I moved to. I wanted so bad to fit in with these people. And I told you guys I was being tough. I was being a boy. I was showing pride, I didn't want people to see that I was just, this, because I did. When I first moved, it was summertime, and I spent about 2 months crying in my room. as a teenage boy, especially when boys are expected to be men. And I was taught my family, don't be emotional, don't be this. So I would go in my room, I'd lock the room, and I'd cry. So when school came around, I was nervous like no other. I've never been out of my hometown, never. And then all of a sudden in high school, we're just flying all over the place. So being the new kid, being so nervous, so anxious, stomach hurting, you know that feeling when you got to go to school, you don't know anyone, your stomach's hurting, you can't eat nothing, you're starving through the day, you want to eat something, but you don't because you don't even want to walk in front of the lunch line because people might see you and stare at you or see your insecurities, all those things. Those are all very real. So I started talking to this one guy at lunch and he became really good friends and all this stuff. I ended up, hanging out with his group or his crew or whatever. They were somewhat bad kids, not really bad, but teenage boys. So I ended up hanging out with him, all this stuff. There's a lot of he said, she said that goes on, gossip drama. That's why I don't like gossip and drama. Anyway, I dated a girl that somebody in that group dated before, and I didn't know, and all this stuff. And anyway, I got blamed for it, broke up with her, all this. Went to a party I was invited to. I felt so good that day, guys, because they came to my house, all of them. They came to my house. It was like 10 guys. And they were like pumping me up and hyping me up, like, man, come out with us. Let's get you out of here, because I had just broke up with her and I was kind of down. And they were like, come on, let's go hang out. Let's have a guys' night, all this stuff. We're going to have fun. We got this really cool party that we're doing. So I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. So I went. They took me. We went there where it was, a typical teenage. There was alcohol, all this stuff that shouldn't be there. Probably about 100 kids taking up a whole house that the parents were not home. So they're all like, we're doing this and chug a beer, do this, do that. Of course, as a kid wanting to fit in, I was doing everything I could to fit in without showing them that, I really just wanted friends. So I was drinking beer with them. I remember getting really dizzy and feeling like I couldn't feel my hands, and I was drugged. It sucked. And next thing I know, I had 10 guys on top of me. That was horrible. That's reality. To me, one of the hardest things to get over. So obviously, moving on to another school, being invited, I didn't go. I didn't trust anyone. Sorry. But I want you guys to know, if I carry that around with me through life, because eventually, yes, I did get through it. I did get over it. I did open up and start to trust people. Wasn't right away. It wasn't during school. But I eventually did. And when I went to my next school, there were people that tried to reach out, and I was shutting them all down. And if I thought I was rude before, I was extremely rude after, because not only did I not trust anyone, I didn't like anyone at all. Had no interest. I became completely introverted. And that was the same year, if those of you who do know my story, that was the same year I did become homeless. Even worse. So it was like my whole life just came down. But one day, I did finally change my mind. There was a guy that I was working at a roofing company with, fresh out of school, and I was so mean to this dude. I was so mean in the fact that the way I treated him, I showed him no means of wanting to communicate with him. He kept bugging me to hang out with him. I kept telling him no, I didn't want to hang out with him. on and on and on. And now to this day, I still message him. We don't live around each other. I still message him. He still messages me. We've grown up. He has a big family. I have a family. But he opened up and he went through a very similar experience. He did. He did, except that he was actually driven out somewhere in the middle of nowhere and it happened to him. So what happened when he said that? We both broke down, told our stories. We let down that wall, that barrier, and we completely accepted one another. And because of him, because of that one person, because I've never heard another story like that ever again. But because of that one person kept pushing through and kept trying, even if it was bugging me, but he kept doing it the right way. He wasn't being inappropriate about it. He wasn't being rude about it. He was simply being understanding of what he was a couple years older. He's simply being understanding of me, that something was up with me. And that was one of the best moments to me in my life. So I want you guys to know that can be that person that leaves. All those people that left, that could have been them. That could have been them. Whatever they went through could have been that most traumatizing, most traumatic memory that you have. And all they needed was you to reach out to them and let them know that other people have went through that. And I get it. I understand. It did suck. It did. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. That's